welcome to Kerry's Cards. This tutorial is to show you how to make, in time for Christmas, but again, not just for Christmas, because it could be a nice little gift idea, a little gift box that will hold a little drawer, so it looks like this. Hopefully it comes the right way around for you. You pull it out and out pops a little thank you. So it shouldn't take us too long. It's going to be a real-time one. Push it back in. It has a little lever, cantilever action there at the side that you can see. Here's another one I made, a little happy birthday one. So again, it sits on the desk or wherever you want to do, and you can pop it in. I've got in here a Ritter Sport chocolate. So one of these chocolates here. These are the 100-gram sizes. I've got mine from Sainsbury's. Lots of different flavours. Another flavour I have. We'll bring out some specials for Christmas as well, and I have to try really hard not to eat these when they're in my drawer. So this one is a whole hazelnut one. So really quick and simple way of boxing up or wrapping up a little chocolate instead of a normal way. You could put whatever you wanted in there. Actually, if you had like a piece of jewellery, you could wrap it in tissue paper and pop that in as well. So all the measurements will be in the information below, and then any questions or anything like that, then just send me a message. So I'm going to move over to the screen. Here is 2 pieces of A4 card for the base bit. And then we're going to go on and just use some DSP. So I've got some seasonal DSP here because we're going to make a Christmas version. And this is from the Winter's Nature, which is the one where you get £2.50 goes towards the charity, whichever area you're in. But in the UK, it's the Salvation Army. You don't need much of the DSP. It doesn't look like much on there. And then the other bit that we're going to use is the tone on tone. So here we've gone for pink. You can see there, so we've gone pink. And here I didn't use the DSP again. I used a layer of black. And this one I used the stamp set from Phrases for All. And use the thank you and the line that's in there. You're all kinds of amazing. So again, this would make a really nice little thank you gift too. So what are the measurements then? You need your trimmer. Oh look, you can see the little piece left over from last time. Your trimmer, and we'll put the red one aside for now. This is garden green, and we need the first piece of A4 paper. A4 paper needs to be cut to fit 8 inches by 8 inches. By 8 inches. Then from there we are going to score at 1 inch and 2 inches on all 4 sides. Now firstly I go round to do the 1 inch. Make sure you've got the trimmer bit rather than the actual cutting blade, because there's nothing worse than actually cutting a piece of card that you've just got ready. So I'm going to go around to do all the 1 inches first. So turn it 90 degrees, line it up to 1 inch. I find the 1 inch side, I always use the smaller side of the trimmer for the measure because it holds it better across the top. And then when we come to the 2 inch, I move it across and do the 2 inch on this side. That's just one of my little quirky bits, but I find that when it's a 1 inch on that side, there's not enough space there to hold the card up to. So I prefer it to use all of this and the length to get up to there. You can alternatively use a scoreboard if you've got one of those. So this is our first part of the box that we're going to make. We're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut down to the second score line for each of these lines going down this way. Then we're going to rotate it 180 degrees and do exactly the same on this side. And then There you go. Once we've done that, I'm then going to cut, keeping it still facing us with the cuts. I'm going to cut at this one here first, and then I'm going to cut at this one here, and then do the same on this side. I'm going to cut to there, and then that one, and then we're going to return it around 180 degrees again and do exactly the same. So we're going to cut at this one first, and then the second one just to that cut line, and then down to that one, all the way down, and then that one. Think about that then. So sometimes you do have to stop and think. So we'll put all those little bits away in the bin. So that's our first square layer. Then we need to make the wrap around that goes round. So when I say wrap around, this bit here is the box bit that we're just making. And then the wrap is the bit that goes all around the outside. This needs to be 4 inches on the short side by 11 inches. Okay. Excuse me a minute. Right, now this part we've got here, we need to make this bit, these lines here. Now this here is going to be just bigger than 4 inches because the box layer that we've got here, from here, this point to this point, is 4 inches. So we're going to make the fold bit 4 inches. Now I know the measurements that you're going to do, the first thing you want is it's going to be 3.5 inches, but slightly less. And that, what that gives us is a little bit more. So 3.5 inches. And when I say a little bit less, I'm talking the smallest bit. See if I can lift it up so you can see to the camera. So the 3.5 line is there. And so if that would be on the 3.5, and I'm just bringing it in a little bit to make it just slightly less than 3.5 inches. And then we're going to do exactly the same on, keep moving it forward, and we're going to do the same again. But we want to be 7.5, but this time it's going to be slightly more than 7.5. And again, the same sort of size. And what we're doing is we're creating a section here that is just hopefully slightly bigger than 4 inches. Can you see there on the fold, on the image? Just slightly bigger than 4 inches. And the reason for that, it means then it'll help the box that we're going to make fit nice and snug. So once we've got these 2 lines in, we then need to add an inch score line on each side. So I do that by lining up my fold, my score that I've got there on the 1 inch line. So I know this is my 1 inch line here, and then score. Then I turn it around and do exactly the same again. So line it up on the my score line on the 1 inch, which is this line here, and then score. So that has now given me the fold to be able to make the box that will go round, sorry, the wrap that will go around the box. Okay, so that's that bit. Then what we need to make or cut out is this little mechanism that's here. See the mechanism? So it's a little strip of card. Is that better? Can you see that there? A little strip of card. And that measures, using one of your offcuts, 1 inch by 5 inches. 1 inch by 5 inches. And we're going to score that at 1 inch. And then turn it up. So that's 1 inch, and then 2 3/4 inches. And then at 4.5 inches. So this is your mechanism that we're going to use. This bit you'll explain will stick in the back of the box. This bit here, these 2 bits here, are the bits that pull up, and this bit sticks in the lid of the wrap. So this bit attaches to the box, and then when you pull it in and out, it goes like that. Okay, again, it'll become a bit clearer when we do that. Then we also need to do our topper, which is this bit here. And that one is 3 inches by 3 inches. So that's the first piece, 3 inches by 3 inches. Then we're going to do a nice piece of cherry cobbler, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So that's that one. So layer it up. Now what we also need to get ready is, using our designer series paper that we've got here, is we need patterned pieces to go on the top of the box. So one is the top layer we've got here is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So we'll cut that bit first. Oh, I did that at 3, so that's wrong. Okay, don't do what I did. That's not going to work. Let's start again. Let's get another piece. 3 3/4. I'm glad I realised that before I carried on. 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So this is our lid that's going to go on the wrap. So we can choose whichever side we want. I'm going to stick with that nice patterned one with the cherry cobbler berries. Then we need to do our side pieces here and for round the box. So these pieces here. So we've got 4 that we can see there. But then if you want to be really clever, I didn't do them on the inside on this one. But just for completeness, I did do them on the inside of this one. So I would say we're going to have 6 pieces of 3/4 inches. So again, because it's the smaller side or less than 1, I'm going to use the right hand side of my trimmer as I'm looking at it and cut that at 3/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Excuse me. Unfortunately, I've got a bit of a cough. I can't seem to shake at the moment. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is pop our layer on here. And the reason we're going to do that is I want this glue to have dried before I cut. So on this one, when you open it, you might have spotted that there's this big hole, gaping hole in the actual wrap. You can see there, so there's a big hole in the wrap that we've got. So we need to make sure it's all glued down before we cut the rectangle out of the middle. So make sure it's got a good bit of glue all over. While we leave that dry, I'm actually going to put the side strips on as well for the wrap. Two. So that's the 2 bits on the wrap done. Then if I bring in the box area, so we're going to actually put the next strips on these 4 areas here. So while we're doing this, it means it's giving chance for the other glue to adhere before I start doing the cutting and dry out. You could obviously use double-sided sticky tape or the seal from Stampin' Up, but you'd have to use quite a lot of that, and I think that's quite wasteful in where we're going to cut it because you end up throwing it away. And then the last one. Okay, and then there. Right, so I'm actually going to, oh, I've got a bit of glue on that, so I'm going to wait for that to dry there and put that to one side while those dry off before we fold those. So this one we're going to move on to, oh, let's just layer this up as well. Okay, let's put those to one side for the minute. And they can dry too. Now I'm going to bring in the trimmer again. It's here. And what I'm going to measure now, you can either do this by eye and use the guides on your ruler, on your cutting board, or if you feel happier, you can get your ruler and mark it so that you've got the 2 inches, that's the centre point there. So I'm going to mark that with a black mark. I've made my ruler centered. 2-inch mark is there, and I know that we want to do it 1.5, so we're going to mark it from those score lines to 1.5 inches, and then here it's going to be 2.5 inches, and that's where our first line is going to be. And we'll turn it around and do exactly the same on this side. I've used a black marker pen here, but you really don't need to do that. I'm going to bring it in just a tad. So that's my half mark, and then I want to mark it at 1.5 and 2.5 inches. So if you can see there, measurements, maybe a bit tricky on the dark on dark. Then we're going to come in by 1/2 inch. So I've done that by eye, and that's actually not too bad. And this one is slightly further out. But you can join those up. And that is 1/2 inch as well. So I'm going to cut that. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut that piece of card out from the middle. And that should be just the right size. So if you overlay your strip that we've cut out ready, it should fit just perfectly in there. So when the gap's in, it'll have enough space to move. And then if you just want to double check that your folds or your score lines are in the right place, so it's just the right length when it's folded flat, and then when you pull the box up, that'll move, and it'll move in with the inside of the box to create the stamp setup. Okay, so I'm going to use my trimmer now to cut that piece. To double check, I'm also going to line it up on my 1/2 inch trim there, and then because I know that is exactly 1/2 inch where I want to cut, and cut there, turn it round again on my 1/2 inch line there, line it up with the 2 black lines, then by eye, where we put the 2 black lines there, and cut down, turn it round, do the same. Just looking if you see what the measurement is, it's actually just shy of 6 inches where we're cutting in terms of the measurement. That should then pop out. I've gone slightly too long there, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'll put that towards the back. But if you did that in pencil, you obviously wouldn't see it. The other option, of course, you've got is to do it on the back, which has probably been a more sensible approach, because you definitely wouldn't see the black lines then when you turned it over. So where do we go from here? So the next thing we want to do is build this part of the box. And again, it's going to be a moving part, so don't forget then we need to use our bone folder, which is up here, to do all our folds. Make sure they're nice and tight. There's another step I forgot to tell you about as well, not too tricky. Now, to make sure that when we're folding all these corners in, they fold in on top of one another without too much effort, what we're going to do is we're just going to take a slither off each of the corners, like a triangle slither. And I'll do the same up here. You see when I'm taking it, how small that is? Oh, where's the camera? Yeah. And then that one there. And that one there. And there. And that, what this does is if your measurements are slightly out, it helps make sure that when you fold it all in on itself, there's no edges that are too big or butting over, so it makes the folding a lot easier. So essentially you do the corners into one another, each of the corners into one another. Okay, I think that's them all done. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the first layer. So what we have to do is get our card. I'm going to put some glue on this tab and glue on this tab and bring them in first. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold it over and line it up so they match quite nice and neatly. And just hold it in place a bit because it's wet glue, it'll move a bit. And then I'm going to go around to this side and do the same on this side, fold it over and make sure it's a nice neat edge there and hold it in place while it dries off. Okay, and then going to, oh, I've done the wrong end. Oh, let's undo it quick. Oh, undo it quick. Oops, that was the save. So I actually want to do that side and that side first, not that one. So it's the back. So I want to do the two sides, so it leaves me with a it leaves this front one that has no tabs on open still. So we're going to do the back. This is what I class as the back. And let's put a little bit more glue on that one. To hold that in place. So I've left what I class as the front part of the box, and you'll explain why the front, what I mean by the front of the box. So on this one, for example, we've got this nice piece of ribbon that's in there to be able to pull the drawer out. You see there? So what that means then is we need to get this ribbon in here somehow. And by doing that, what we have is we have to use this bit here where it's got no tabs on to be able to make sure that the ribbon comes out. So can you see there really closely how the ribbon is squished in between the two folds? And that's what we're going to do here. So I'm just going to get my red ribbon. I think I've got a piece here. Maybe I haven't, that's cut already. Looks like I've got quite a few pieces. Okay, it's a bit too long. So I think this is 4 inches. You need a handle on the other side for 4 inches. So you need at least 10 inches to 12 inches of ribbon. So I'm just gonna measure that on my trimmer and cut. Now you have 2 ways of doing this. You can either use, I prefer to use double-sided tape to hold it in place to start with. So I'm just going to put my double-sided tape down. Use my picky tool to get that off because otherwise my nails, for one reason or another, take me ages to get it off. What's my two, she says. There we go, much easier. Then I fold it in half, the ribbon. Make sure I sort of put it halfway in there, equidistant, and then bring it round to the front. So we're putting it on not the first bit of the tab, but the second bit of the tab. Then you can get your glue on these 2 tabs here. And fold it up and and make it nice and neat. And this is where your ribbon's sticking out. There. And do exactly the same on the other side and hold it in place. Now I've used bobbly ribbon here, or fluted ribbon. You could use plain and flat. So this one's a nice flat one, so it sits quite nicely on when she's all glued together. Then, to finish it off, we need to also then glue this tab on the outside, these top tabs in, to make a nice neat inside of the box. So to make sure it holds in place, I'm going to put glue all across the bottom there. Can you see inside where I've put all the glue? Let's see. Okay. Then I'm going to fold it over. And hold it in place whilst that dries off and sets a bit. If you want, you could use pegs to hold it in place, but this should be enough to dry it off, to set it. And then do the same with the other 3 tabs. We're just going to put glue on all 3 tabs. And fold them in. And what this does, and hold each one for a little bit, what this does is it holds and helps strengthen all the sides of the box. It makes it a really nice sturdy gift box. Go around. And then that one in. So this is creating our little drawer that we're going to pull out. Any gluey bits, that's okay. Oh, I'm covered in glue actually. Look, it's even stuck to my fingers. Let's give that a quick rub. And then this is our drawer level, so I'm just going to tie it into a little knot. If you wanted to make it a little bit longer, you could have a bow. Tie it and put it nice and tight, and then that's our drawer handle that we're going to have there. Now to make the wrap, we want to make sure that our box, I'm going to take my mark, I'm going to put it at the back so it's not so obvious. But if you do and flip it over that way and do it that way, you won't see it. So the box, we need to have the long cut level or perpendicular to where the ribbon is. And then to make that box, because we made that top bit just a slightly bit bigger than 4 inches, it makes it fit quite nicely round and gives it space to slide. Hold it so it's nice and tight like that. Drop it down flat on the work surface. Hold in one place still. I put glue on this inside bit here, and then I also put glue on this bit here, so it's in the right place, rather than guesstimating how far over that's going to go. Then when you fold it over, and just press it and hold it for a little bit while it sets. And that is your wrap that's made. But then what we have to do is attach our little mechanism that's on the inside. And the first bit I always do is this bit here, the smaller part, because this bit is going to fit inside and on the wrap bit, so it's just the same right size to fit there. So we'll put glue on this part here, and then you need to bend it and fit it underneath. So I bend it so it's at a 90-degree angle, and then slide it in, and using my thumb and then hold it underneath until it's set and dried, so it's flush to the front. Can you see there where it's level? And that's nice and flush, and just hold it till it's set. Make sure that it's still level there, because this is going to slide in and out. And once that's dry, then you can pull the box out slightly, and then this part here, we're then going to pop glue on here, the big square bit, and you'll see then you've got the back of the box has been revealed there. This part is going to slide in and stick to the back of the box, so you can pop it in, then use your finger to go in there and hold it in place while it dries. You need a little bit of patience with this, but it's absolutely, it doesn't take too long. Again, if you wanted to use double-sided tape, you could, as I keep saying in all my videos, I prefer the wet glue because it just gives me that little bit time to move things or peel them apart before they've got dry, rather than ruining the whole project. So that is our mechanism now that you can see in there, so it slides up and down. So the next bit that we want to do is pop our topper onto the top of the box, and I do this by there's two ways of doing this. The first thing you could do is you could pop glue on here on the lower part of where the score line is, but the most sensible way and the quickest way of doing it, I've found, is by actually popping 3D foam pads. I stick my finger underneath, I put a couple of foam pads on it, peel the tops off, and then I get my topper and take my finger out, make sure it's centered, and then I try and eyeball it and make sure, so the base of this bit will be at the base of here and that it's as centered as possible. And then I just press it down because the pads have got the stickiness, then put my hands underneath in the box, just give it a press. And then what should happen is it should automatically pop up. There we go. Now this is ready for you to put whatever you want in terms of your greeting on there. I'm going to do a happy Christmas, I think. Somewhere I've pre-done one, but I don't know where I've put it. That's typical. Where could that be? Nope. Okay, here we are, got it. So I've got that one. Or I've got Oh What Fun. Or we've got Christmas. That one's quite nice because it matches all the colours. So we could do a Merry Christmas or a Happy Christmas. Let's have a look. Or I could do another layer of the green card and then the Merry Christmas on top of that. I think I might go for a white with Merry Christmas on, actually. I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to go for a white piece of card. I can find one that's going to be big enough. So here's a scrap of paper. So to make it so that it's the right size, and that's too narrow, let's get another piece. Okay, it needs to be 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. So let's cut this one 2.5 inches square by 2.5 inches. And then I'm going to use a stamp and stamp the image on there. So let's get that one. And let's go for here. Will the Christmas stick, or is it now it's too big, so we can't use that one. Let's go for a little Christmas tree that I've already pre-cut. There we are. So that one, and I think I might have another one that's the next size up. Actually, that one's going to be better. And we'll use the greetings to go on it from the Merriest Trees. This is from the Merriest Trees die cut. Let's get that one on there. Too small. So it needs a D, and put that on there as well, and then we'll do that in the Cherry Cobbler. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to do quickly is jazz up this white bit on the back, because I think that looks a little bit plain. So I'm just going to stamp it a few times around so that when you put that on there like that, and then that over the top, it's okay. Do I like it? Not sure I do. Let's go back to the emergency side and put the white one on. I think we'll do white. Snow. Let's go that way. So then we'll glue this on. There. And then we'll glue this in the middle. Again, you could do 3D foam pads if you wanted to. And to try and hide the my extra bit of ink there, I'm going to get a little star that I've pre-cut. Pop that on the top. Shape it, round it up. So then when it comes to opening the Christmas tray box, we can pop our chocolate in. Let's get the hole nut. Pop that inside, and there we have a lovely little treat box for Christmas. Don't forget, you could also put a gift card or something like that inside as well. So you could use that as a little table setting with their names on. Lots of different options. So there we've got, let's tidy up. We've got a number of different options for you. We've got thank you, I've got a happy birthday and a happy Christmas one. We wish you a Merry Christmas. So some ideas for you, different colour combinations there as well. I'd be interested to see any feedback from you and what you think of them. So here we go, here's the last one that we've just made. Again, I think that'd be lovely to have on someone's little table setting. There's the other one. Okay, there we are, the three that we've done, and hope you enjoy making them. Don't forget, these ones have been designed for the Ritter chocolate bars. They're 100 grams that I get from Sainsbury's in the UK, but obviously you could put whatever you wanted in them. It's some nice little present that's wrapped up in tissue paper or Christmas, whatever. The use is limited, or unlimited, not limited, for what you can do again. All right, thanks for watching and have a lovely time making them. I'd love to hear your reviews, and if you like it, subscribe, and that would be great. I'd like to have some more followers to share what I like doing. Many thanks. Bye-bye.